most of the friends that you have, you met at a time in life that the only thing that's connecting you now is to discuss old people and old situations. Oh, did you run into such and such? You see how big she got now? Did you run into such and such? You saw he was doing this now. These are trauma bonds. And once you decide to be intentional about not talking about that anymore, you don't have anything to talk about. And then you realize, maybe I don't have as much in common with these people as I thought I did. Or when you were in a toxic relationship and so was your best friend in a toxic relationship, this is a trauma bond. And the moment you decide that you will not accept that behavior for yourself anymore, your best friend no longer feels comfortable talking to you about her trauma that you've outgrown.
All right, listen, man. I got a free gift for you. Sponsored by my brother, Marquel Russell. Listen, he is going to give you the paid ad playbook. I asked him to give it to you, and I was like, yo, you got to give it to him for free. He said, all right. So he's going to teach you the 5x5x25 method. Now, I can't teach you that because I don't know it as good as Marquel. However, if you get the paid ad playbook, he's going to teach you this thing that has attracting 4 clients, 50 to 100 leads every single day. I'm talking about leads that actually convert. To this date, it's generated over $250 million in revenue for coaches, consultants, course creators, and experts in their field, okay? So listen, it's a 14-page action guide that's more valuable than 99% of these $9.97 courses that's out there. How I know? Because I got them all, okay? And he's going to give you a bonus training that's going to help you strategically strategize your own system. Strategically strategize your whole system. You need a strategy, fam. So listen, do me a favor. Go to socialproofgift.com. Socialproofgift.com. I certify, okay? He's the first person to help me make $30,000 in a week. It was crazy. No cap, okay? So go to socialproofgift.com. Check it out. It's free, absolutely free. Or text PROOF, P-R-O-O-F, PROOF, to 904-447-5274. The number's here, website's here. Back to the episode. Good. Donni, what's happening?
Are we on?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
Are we on?
If we're on, Joe is about to be in trouble.
Why?
What are we missing?
What are we missing? The clock. Get it together, Joe.
Come on, Joe.
Yo, that's Joe vibe that we cook every episode.
Every episode when we're talking about Joe, there he is right there. All right, we're good.
But let me tell you something about environment, though. So, Joe has been working with me for a while. He started out in the coaching program in the morning meetup, and he started managing our e-complex. And he came to me and said, yo, man, I hate this job. You were working like mental health or what was you doing? Something with kids. Social work. And he said, man, I hate this job. I used to love it because I love the kids, but it's too much going on around the kids and I can't just enjoy that job. So he says, I want to leave. And I said, okay, let's do it. He said, yo, I want to make X amount of dollars per month. I said, okay, I'll pay you that. And then he came back and asked for a little more money to do something else. And I was like, all right, it's valuable. Okay, true story. He just came and asked for more money. I was like, all right, well, that's cool. And through being in this environment and we talk every single day, he sees all that's going on. He's at every podcast episode. Now he's making more money than he's ever made in his life. Simply because he's around the right environment and he's applying some of the strategies. So the stuff we talk about on the podcast, when we're telling him all the things that he's doing to mess up. Now, he does everything. He does most stuff right. But we're hard on him, and he gets to hear this conversation every day, and he starts leveling up every single week. And what'd you make so far this month? Might hit 8,000. What was the most you made at your job in a week? In a month. In a month, I'm sorry. So it went from 31 to 8,000 because he decided, yo, I'm going to trust myself and go after it and get in the right environment. And I think he's been in the right environment for a long time. But the problem was he didn't bet on himself. So I'm not telling anybody here to quit your job, but you need to bet on yourself at some point. I'm so excited to be investing more in myself than I've ever invested in myself. I'm betting on me. But some people had a hard time either joining the morning meetup at $79 or paying $100 to come here for some information. And you debated that thing. How many people, this is the most you've ever invested? Maybe $100 or in yourself? $1,000 is the most you've ever invested? Everybody here has invested over $1,000 in their own education? All right, there we go. Got some hands. Who else? Be honest. Okay. Here's my challenge for you. Whatever the most money you've invested in yourself, whether it's through courses, coaching, or whatever, I want you to top that. Here's the thing. I don't even care what it is. I don't care what it is. I want you to get in the habit of investing in yourself because it's going to be really hard to charge a certain amount of money that you've never paid because you won't believe it. That's my whole ministry for like the rest of the year is spend more money. Spend more money. Invest more money. Get that money out of your hand. Now, I'm not talking about frivolously, but get that money out of your hand because for some reason, and I don't know why, maybe you can explain it, Donni, the more money I spend and get out of my life, the more money that comes back into my life.
The more money you invest or spend?
One time, I was at this apartment where it was really, really cheap, and then I moved to a nicer place to live, and I started making more money. Mm-hmm. Like even getting a car or buying this watch. It's not like people will say, "Hey, listen." Yes. You cannot hear me? You cannot hear me? I'm okay. Turn me up. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. Check. Is that better? I hate this sound for y'all. Check. Is that better? Can you hear me? No?
Can we use one speaker? Can we just use one? That one's the problem.
Maybe use one speaker.
Let's try one.
Unplug that one. Unplug that one for me. Maybe unplug. Yeah, just unplug that speaker. Yeah. Yeah. No, not that microphone, that speaker.
The whole speaker.
Oh, that was out? Okay. Is that better? Is that better? Y'all can hear me? Oh, we're good.
The fan. Okay. But now y'all gonna be hot. So listen, okay? Heat in exchange for sound. Let's get it.
Good. Okay. We're good? Okay. So, and I'm trying to understand it and explain it in a way that makes sense. But it seems like the more money I spend, the more money I make. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't know if I can explain it. Not even just investing in books and education, but when I buy nicer stuff, maybe I have another confidence.
Well, I think it's another motivating factor when you spend. So number one, when you move into a different place, this is...
You're doing great, Mark.
All right, you guys. So welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast.
Start this all over again. Yo, this is going to be so funny. Like when we like number one on the charts, you'll be like, yo, I remember.
First of all, can we get a shout out for being number 8 right now on the charts in the country?
Number 8.
Now, we're not going to make any excuses, but welcome to our very first live taping.
Absolutely.
Outside of our normal studio of the Social Proof Podcast. So we are relying on third-party equipment, you guys, and it's not necessarily going as planned, but we are going to get it done. Yes or yes?
Yes.
No, because I could have everybody leave the room and try this one. We are going to get it done today. Yes or yes? Yes. Everybody came here to learn something. Yes or yes? Yes. Everybody in here feeling like they look like $1 million? No or no? Yes? I mean, yes? Okay. Good stuff. So welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. My name is Donni. This is my partner in crime, brother from another mother, David Shands. And we are excited to be here for our very first live taping. All right. We are going to work through the sound issue. We're not going to stop anymore because we got to keep the party on the road. I'm going to go ahead and get it started.
Am I good? Can y'all hear me? Am I good? You can hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm good. Don't touch it. It's good now. Don't touch it.
What are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, because I was in the middle of giving bad financial advice.
Stop.
Come on, I was going somewhere, but I had to get my thoughts together. Yo, I'm telling you, I cannot explain it, man. I can't explain it.
So a couple of things. When you move into a new home and you're spending significantly more, right? People have to qualify to be in that environment. So you feel better. You feel more highly esteemed because other people have qualified at a higher level to live around you. So for example, when I lived where I used to live at this point 8 years ago, 7.5, 8 years ago, I was doing okay for myself. I was making six figures at that time. But I lived in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I was surrounded by the same people that I grew up with, some who were doing well, some who were not doing so well. Most people, though, in that neighborhood were, just regular middle class, and my dreams were bigger. So I knew that if I wanted to not be middle class too, I needed to surround myself with people who were not middle class. So I took a bet on myself, and I moved into a building where what I paid just to live was 3.5 times more than what I was paying before. And not only did I do that for myself, at the very same time, on the very same day, I got my mom a condo in that same building. So now I'm paying 7 times more than what I had been paying. Well, when you do something like that and go out on that kind of limb, it has to happen or it has to happen. What are you doing?
I don't know.
You stop touching stuff.
I know. Hold on. Give me a second.
Has to happen. Hey, my sound completely went away. Y'all can't hear me?
Oh,
it has to happen or it has to happen. Can y'all hear me now? Because I can talk loud.
All right, I'm good now.
Oh,
right?
you're good.
Yeah,
all right. It has to happen or it has to happen. Now, I am not suggesting that you guys put your house on the market or you give your apartment community notice and move into another level or a higher level. I could financially pay it. At the time that I moved into the building, thinking about it now, could I financially pay it? Yes. Could I financially afford it? No. I couldn't afford it. I could pay it, meaning I made enough money to pay it. But at that time, I wasn't making enough money to pay just my rent alone and live life the way I wanted to live life. So for me, personally, putting myself in uncomfortable situations is a motivator for me, right? And I hope you guys are grasping the difference between just being incredibly irresponsible and strategically placing yourself in an environment that motivates you. And that's what I did for myself. I was just having a conversation yesterday, in fact, about buying 2 pair of, $1,200 shoes in one day. And the conversation went something like, should I get these or these? I might get both. Just get both pair of shoes. They're just $1,200. So it's $2,400 worth of shoes, $2,000 to $2,400 worth of shoes that's sitting right in front of you. And you're a CEO. You're an entrepreneur. This now, when we think about it, utilize it for a marketing expense rather than just shopping. I no longer shop. I have a marketing budget, and everything that I wear falls in alignment with that marketing budget. For example, what I got on today, I went and shopped for it moments before coming here. Why did I do that? Well, I know that when we air, people are going to be in the comments and y'all be like, Donni looks so cute. Look at her little outfit, right? Y'all look forward to seeing what David's going to be wearing. You look forward to seeing what I'm going to be wearing. Like, it's just that little detail. If we came in here busted, we wouldn't have as many views, no matter how good the content was. People like the whole presentation. So investing in yourself can absolutely and will absolutely significantly yield a return.
I think I went to, I was driving like a 97 Toyota Corolla at one time.
What year were you driving that?
This was 2010, 2012.
Okay. In the 97?
It was about a 97.
Sheesh.
No, it was a Toyota Avalon, some car, whatever. And I wasn't making much money, but I told myself I was going to get a new car. And I stretched to get the new car. And I don't know if I could afford it at the time. And again, this might be bad financial advice. I'm just giving you my testimony, okay? I went and got a new car that I knew I couldn't necessarily afford. But at this time, I'm building my t-shirt business. And I said to myself, and I convinced myself that I don't need another car note. I don't want to pay the $500 or $600 a month or whatever. And I convinced myself that I didn't necessarily need to buy clothes because that's financially irresponsible. I need to like save my money. Mm-hmm. But I think I was putting money on a pedestal, and I wanted to like hoard as much money as possible. So I didn't want to let it go. So I want to save, and I'm being cheap, and I'm eating ramen noodles and things of that nature. And nothing's wrong with being on a budget, but I didn't like living like that. I didn't like pulling up in the car that I pulled up in. I didn't like having to have a gallon of water with me everywhere I go. Anybody relate? You know what the gallon of water?
That overheat lifestyle.
You get in my car, you got to slide the water over because you got a gallon or two in your back seat. I had to. And I didn't like the quality of life. And again, this is why I'm saying it's hard for me to explain, because once I got the new car, I had another level of confidence. And I just started selling my t-shirts. And I'm like, yo, let me just calculate. If it's $600 that I need to pay for this quality of life, and the car equated to a quality of life for me. If I needed $600 for this car, I just have to sell how many t-shirts at $25 a piece? 24 shirts per month, I believe, for me to afford this quality of life. So I'm working really hard for this particular quality of life. And then I went and got a nicer apartment. And I said, okay, it's another $1,200, which is, I think I was paying $800. Then I got an apartment for $1,200. I know it doesn't sound like nice in California, but it was nice for Atlanta. So this extra $400, right? I got to sell 16 more t-shirts. And that's what drove me, because I wanted this. I was driven by the quality of life, not hoarding my money to say I have some. But what happened was when I decided to start letting the money go because I knew the money was coming, I worked harder and the money kept coming. Mm-hmm. The money kept coming. We were talking about Donni getting that watch, and you can see kind of on the episode, she got excited and she's like, nah, I don't want to do it. But then she went and got it. She went and got the watch, and it paid for itself the next day. Mm-hmm. True story, this just happened. There's a gentleman, I want to learn how to sell from stage. I'm a terrible salesman. Anybody ever heard me sell something? Or try to pitch something, you just didn't buy it from me? Y'all didn't buy. I'm terrible at sales. Because especially like a high ticket, how many people get nervous for high ticket sales?
How many people sell high ticket products or services?
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple.
That is show that you're afraid of it. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have a $25 product and sell 1,000 of them to make $25,000? Or would you rather have a $1,000 product and sell 25 of them? You just got to find 25 people that find the value. But the point is, I invested in this guy $55,000 the other day. This was 2 days ago. I'm talking to my wife and I'm telling her, and I could see the nervousness in her face. $55,000 to do what? To learn what? I'm like, I'm not good at sales. I'm terrible at it. And the conversation is like, well, how do you know you're just going to get instantly good at sales if you invest $55,000? Well, I made the decision. This is before I actually put the money up. I said, I made a decision. I set the appointment. I'm going to call the person and invest $55,000 to help me get the confidence to sell higher ticket, because I'm starting to see the evidence of like people really, really building wealth through these high ticket sales. The very next day, I got a call for somebody to say, yo, I want to sponsor your episode. Can you put an episode? Can you put my ad in the beginning of your videos? I said, yes, I can. He said, how much? So I give him the numbers. And for some reason, I said, yo, you got to do it for 10 weeks. And you got to do every episode for 10 weeks, which is 3 episodes a week. You got to do 30 of them. The amount of money that I said I was going to invest this is before I even invested the money, but I made the decision. My man said, oh, it came out to like $52,000. He said, okay, send the paperwork. I felt so comfortable giving it away. Now I'm not as nervous asking for it. So some of you might have a $25 product, a t-shirt line or something like that, but you don't buy other people's t-shirts. So you don't see the value in paying for it. Or you want to do an event where, listen, I feel real comfortable charging $100. I feel comfortable charging $1,000 to come to an event. I feel comfortable charging $5,000 to come to an event. Why? I paid $5,000 to go to an event for one day. The information, I didn't even get a lot of information out of it. I got some networking, which was dope, because if you get in a room with people who invested $5,000, the conversations are different. And those connections are different. Does that make sense? So even in this room, there's some people, if the ticket was $20, they'd be here, but because it was $100, they're not. But we charge $100 not to get you in the room, but to keep certain people out. The quality of networking. The VIP is $500. We're about to go to dinner after this. The $500 is to keep out the people who is not ready to invest $500. That conversation is different because their mindset is ready. I need to let it go so it can come back. Mm-hmm. So I want you to start letting it go. I'm really considering like buying another house because I want to be, my man told me, yo, he just bought a house. The mortgage is $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month is the mortgage. Crazy, ain't it? But the way he said it was, he was so excited. He was like bragging on not what he makes, but what he gives out. Mm-hmm. I brag on how much I'm paying my people. I feel good that I'm paying out 6 figures a year to people. That's my brag, not how much I made. So how many people are dedicated to spend a little more? Stop. I'm telling y'all, be financially responsible. Know your bills, pay your bills, things of that nature. But money comes and goes. Mm-hmm. Unless you don't believe that, then it comes. And if it doesn't go, it can't go anywhere. And if you hold all the money in your hand like this, none of it can't leave, but none can come in either. So that's how we're going to a whole nother level because we're spending out more.
Yeah.
That was a rant. Was that a rant? Give me a round of applause for my rant. I don't normally talk that long.
You don't. What's interesting is that you're on this topic because yesterday I was writing down a list. I was having a conversation with someone and we were talking about things that you should stop doing. Like if you truly want to be successful as an entrepreneur, things that you should stop doing. And one of those things is looking at a high ticket investment in anything and saying, I don't know if it's going to be worth it or people will get on the phone with you when you're selling high ticket or they'll come to the back of the room and they'll say, well, can you break down exactly what it includes? And sure, we can. We can tell you what it includes, but then there's this word that says guarantee. Well, if I invest this, can you guarantee that I'm going to make more money or I'm going to look prettier or whatever the result is supposed to be, right? And so the one thing that I wrote down was stop expecting benefit after benefit after benefit after benefit just because you made an investment. And to some of you, that may sound ridiculous. Well, what do you mean? If I make this super high investment, I want benefit after benefit after benefit after benefit. But the same program that David just invested in, I had a client invest in as well, right? And from that level of mentorship, that client got confidence to now sell a high ticket program. We were selling a program right at $500. They attended this mentorship or went through the mentorship and now they want to do a high ticket. They want to do something that's at least $5,000. So we did a live event and in their mind, they wanted to do a $4,500 event. And at the event in real time, I said, no, it's going to be $74.97. And they're like, are you sure? Absolutely. And he looked and he said, you know what? Run it. Run it. I had already been working with this person for months, right? And saying, you need to do a high ticket event. You need a mastermind. You need. And they're saying, yeah, okay, I get it. They believed that they needed it, but they didn't necessarily have the confidence to execute it. Mm-hmm. They attended that mastermind. They didn't get flown in a private jet. They didn't get lifetime access to courses. They didn't get, this private mansion experience. They didn't get all of that. They got confidence. They paid $55,000 for confidence. Raise your hand if you don't think that's worth it. Would you pay $55,000? Raise your hand if you would pay $55,000 for confidence. Let me get a link going real quick. Hold on. Hold on. I need y'all still paying $55 for confidence? You ready? Okay. Let me tell you what that did. That $55,000 investment for confidence about 35 days later after the mentorship program is when we did an event and we said at the event, we're going to launch a mastermind. We're backstage. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do? What kind of, he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, but we got to know. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, well, we don't know. I just know that we're about to sell some for $79.97. Let me get on the back end and get things in order, right? So the next day when we're going to pitch it, literally 5 minutes before we go on stage, I'm like, you know yet? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, these are the 5 sentences you're going to say. You're going to get there, and these are the 5 transformations. We don't know the details of what that looks like, but we know exactly what the transformation will be, right? And because he paid $55,000 for the confidence to go out there and pitch the recommendation, we made $500,000 in a couple of hours on site that day. $55,000 investment. And we didn't know confidence was going to be in the end result. We wanted the mansion experience, the private plane,
right,
all of that, right? But it was confidence. And then the execution on that confidence turned $55,000 into $500,000 in one day. So now raise your hand if you really would invest $55,000 for confidence.
Yeah. I look at it like most people feel like they have a problem with the resources or things that but really it's just the confidence to go out there and build something and being willing to accept the ridicule for if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's most people's biggest problem. You haven't started not because you don't have time, not because you got kids, not because you don't have money. It's simply because you believe that you might put all this effort into something and people won't buy. That's why I'm going to get that confidence. It's a mindset shift. How many people look at $55,000 as a lot of money? Hands down. How many people look at $5,000 as a lot of money to go to an event? Honestly, $5,000. How many people look at $1,000 to go to an event? It's a lot of money. How many people? The biggest problem is how you view money. And we talked about it in the morning meetup with raising your zero. There was a point where if I didn't have any money, I had nothing. I had zero. But then my mentor told me that 70% of the world or something like that doesn't have $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. So my whole goal was to save $1,000 because I've had 1,000 before and then I feel rich. Like, oh, you look at the account, it's 1,000 there.
You have 1,000 in that thing.
I'm out here. It's go time. I just got paid.
We're buying the bottles.
What we doing tonight?
What we doing tonight? Where we going?
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy the whole bottle, but I got
something on the bottle.
I got some on it.
And we're not standing in line. No lines with $1,000 in the bank.
Come on.
Y'all don't remember the $1,000 in the bank feeling. You gonna go get your hair done and skip the line? I'm the only. Maybe it's an Atlanta thing. It might just be Atlanta.
Let me tell you how I judged this person this one time. This is about March, around March. You know what happens in March?
March Madness?
Nope.
Oh, spring? It started getting hot?
Nope. I'm in the mall. Let me tell you a story. I'm in the mall. It's March. The mall is flooded with people. Okay. Why?
Oh, tax season.
This lady came by. She had like 4 kids. And I'll never forget it. She had like 4 kids, kind of like heavy set. But just excited. I don't know if she was pregnant. I think she was pregnant. That's why I said heavy set. I don't know. She might have been pregnant. I don't know. But she came to the kiosk and she had her hair did, but not out of, how can I say it?
She had her hair did.
You could, you know what? I don't want to judge, but you could tell you got the Texas. You feel me? Anyway, so she's there and I'm at the kiosk and I'm selling the t-shirt. She's like, I like your brand. So I'm telling my story. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna get a shirt. And okay, give me a shirt. Oh, give me that one too. Oh, give me that one too. And I'm like, oh, I know what's going on. We out here. Tax is here.
Tax is here.
In the middle of itself, she's bought, like, it was like a baby. The shirt was too big. She's like, to get a small, I'm like, it might be a little big for the baby. She's like, nah, get it, she'll grow into it. I'm like,
taxes.
All right, these taxes. So one side of me is saying, I probably, because I just got done telling kids about financial literacy and like not being, just being smart with your money. So I wanted to tell her as my sister. But on the other hand,
run it.
I'm running a business here. But what jumped in my brain is, yo, in about 3-4 weeks, the money dries up, and then you go back to being who you are. You go back to saving every penny and trying to hoard the money. But when you get some, because when you have zero, that's when you're broke, you're going to hurry up and get back to your zero. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my zero, I raised my zero to 1,000, meaning when I get 1,000, I don't have anything. I'm broke. If I got $1,000 and you ask me for money and say, yo, can I borrow $10? I'm like, yo, I ain't got it. Because in my head, 1,000 is zero. But what happened was I would get significantly over 1,000 and then I find myself right back to 1,000. And then I start panicking. Yo, I got to get back. I got to get over I'm getting close to zero again. But 1,000 was my zero, which a few months ago, zero was my zero. But then I raised my zero to 10,000. Where, I think one time, and it hurt my heart, my mom is here too, I had like $10,000 and that was my zero. And I'm like, yo, I am not going below 10,000. I'm not investing in nothing. I'm not, $10,000. My mom asked me for some money and I said, I ain't got it. Mm. And I felt bad for the rest of the day. But then I got excited because I realized that 10,000 is my new zero. And I'll never fall below that. But do you know, there are some people, 1 million is their zero. They panic, they'll lose it. Remember when the stock market crashed, or the real estate market crashed, 2008-ish? There's some millionaires blew their brains out because they got to their zero. They're like, yo, I ain't got nothing left. I'm nervous. My point is, we got to start to raise our zero. The reason you think $1,000 is a high to pay for is because you think $1,000 is a lot of money. One, you got to start getting around people who got more money. Two, you got to get more money. You got to start to build something. Anybody not have a product or service that they're pushing right now? Why not? Why not? Why not? The decision. You have it in your head. You want to do something, right? What are you so afraid of? Afraid of failure? Come to the mic real quick because I want them to hear that on the podcast. We're going to interview this time. We're going to interview this fear of failure. But most people are afraid of high ticket because you think it's a lot of money. And you think it's a lot of money because you haven't spent it yet. But why haven't you started?
I think maybe due to a fear of failure or even fear of success.
A fear of failure or a fear of success? No. Get back here. Explain that fear of failure thing to me.
I guess to unpack it a little bit more, I would say just what others may think, or like maybe an imposter syndrome because I maybe don't know enough about something before I sell it. And for the fear of success, I would say, just being out there and having to navigate my new lifestyle. So,
can anybody relate to that? Just for people who may not have heard her, she said fear of failure.
No.
Fear of what other people might think. Fear of imposter syndrome. Feeling like you don't know enough. Does anybody else feel like that? Like, raise your hands high. This is a room where you want to get your questions answered. All right. And then she also said fear of success, like fear of having to adjust to a new lifestyle. Has anybody ever experienced that? God, I think that's so crazy. I have never feared success.
You imagine a new lifestyle? You got a bigger house and a nicer
Could you
car?
imagine?
That's got to be uncomfortable.
Having to now upgrade to a mansion? God, that got to hurt.
Or be able to give more to your church or organization?
True.
Golly, that's got to be tough.
Stressful.
I understand your fear.
I don't. Though. The fear of success, I don't understand. Now, what I would understand if you said fear of success, something that I struggled with was, again, what people would think. Because people judge you if you fail and people judge you if you are a success. So then you start to lose friends. How does this success make my friends feel? How does this success make my parents feel, right? When you start making more money than your parents, at least I was like, how does this make them feel, right? I remember sharing numbers with my mom and just telling her, wow, we made this much money today. We made this much money today. And the number just started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And one time my mom responded and said, you make more today than I do in a whole month. And on one hand, I know she's proud and she was proud in that moment. But on the other hand, like, how did that make you feel? And then you'll feel like the same way with your friends. You want to share the good news just because you're so excited about the success that you're having. And it goes from, yay, go, 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 to, oh, that's good. Oh, that's what's up. Oh, wow. To just hitting that little like emoji or whatever on your text message. And you understand that you may be offending some people, right? Now, fear of failure.
Hold on. Are you afraid of that? The success, the things you just talked about?
Yeah, I would say, I think all of that because, how are people going to view you and the haters?
Cool. Let's just, before we go on to the fear of failure, let's just interview that real quick, okay? People will look at you a certain way, right? What do you think would happen if they start looking at you a certain way?
I think you will obviously start to lose some friends, people who can't see you the way that they want to see you.
Gotcha. So you think you'll lose some friends?
Perhaps.
Cool. So you're going to lose some people you thought were friends because you became successful. And they won't want to be your friend if you're becoming successful?
And we care about what they think?
Question. Were they really your friends?
Right. I mean, when you say it, it sounds,
ridiculous.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it does.
You're afraid of losing people who claim to be your friends only because you're on the same level as them.
Right. So here's the thing. You got to really audit. You do. You have to audit what you're dealing with and say it out loud. And does this make literal sense? Does this make good sense whatsoever?
Yeah.
We fear being successful to offend people who are supposed to love us because we don't want to make them uncomfortable. Why, if you love me, does me doing well, something that could potentially change life for all of us, make you uncomfortable?
Right.
And then the other thing is, are we really losing friends or are we just making some people uncomfortable because now they have to evaluate themselves, right? So you might not lose friends. It might feel a little strained, but when reality is what happens is because if they were successful too, then you guys are still girlfriends and you can still go out and have brunch and have the conversation.
Yeah.
So now I look at it as a responsibility to do well. It's my responsibility to do well. And it's my responsibility to talk openly about it. Some people are really, really close-knit with their numbers. Some people are really close-knit with their success. And I get that mindset, but I have a different mindset. The reason that I am where I am today, or one of the things that made me go after at least where I am, what I'm achieving today is because there was evidence of other people doing it. I'll never forget, like, the first fly chick that I saw in front of a room speaking, and she was making something like $10,000 a month. Saria Avant. Saria, right? I was in a network marketing company, and I had just started, didn't know anything about it. In fact, I thought the industry was a scam. I was a skeptic, right? And I saw her in front of the room. All of the men who got up there, they were great. They were powerful. But it was something about seeing a representation of somebody who looked and felt like me in my mind in front of the room. Like, oh, you're up here with the big boys doing what big boys do. I like doing what the big boys do. And so then I aspired to, now I want to make $10,000 a month from this. I want to do it here. So she was my target. She was what I set my goals and my standards of how I operated after. I wanted to catch her. I wanted to be on her heels. I wanted to model the success that she had already displayed. But it was because she shared her journey. It was because she wasn't afraid of losing friends. It was because she wasn't afraid of offending anybody, because she was more concerned about who she could help through her testimony than who she could hurt through sharing the good news. You can't worry about who you're hurting because you're sharing your success.
How does it make you feel?
Well, it gives me, it's a new perspective. Like, just know what you want and just go after what you want. Don't worry about the rest.
100%.
So that's what I heard. That's how I
And make new
interpret
friends
it.
if necessary,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just make friends who are proud of you.
Or somebody is, and that's probably the reason you haven't started or you're not where you know you can be. Because you're just in, it's the wrong environment.
Yeah.
Honestly. And there's some people that I have in my life that I love them, but I can't spend a whole lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Because the conversation starts going left.
Yeah.
The conversation starts going into, I do love a good conversation about social injustice, but that's not my ministry.
Right.
The conversation will go, and then I get angry, and then I want to
do something.
I want to do something, and it gets me all out of my headspace. You feel me? Or if I'm trying to walk the right path, and I'm finding I have a spiritual guide, and I start hanging around with some people that's not their conversation. The conversation is going to start going left, and I'm going to go left with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's nobody in this circle to go right. And chances are, if you start becoming successful, they might follow you. My best friend in the world, he hit me today, every day, what we doing? What kind of play can we put together? And he's traditionally like a job worker until they let him go. But if I didn't go do something, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No. She's afraid of failure too. We got to interview it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you guys got to interview your fears.
Yeah.
You got to sit down and have a conversation. You're like, oh, well, this is my fear of what people think. Oh, this is what they might think. Why am I afraid of that? Yes, ma'am.
It's not what other people think. I'm not worried about looking at friends. I have social anxiety. I don't like being noticed.
Good. So the fear
That's
is
good.
not being noticed.
Yeah.
Or being noticed.
Or being
noticed.
noticed.
Being noticed.
Right.
I don't like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't like that you can identify me, but I can identify you.
Good.
Right.
Right.
Hey,
Um,
right there.
Stand up real quick. Just look around the room. Real quick. No, stand up real quick. Just real quick. Just real quick. Just real quick. Just look. I want you to scour the room real quick.
Wave at everybody.
How many- yeah,
Just,
wave at everybody.
Quick little wave.
What's your name? Giselle.
Hey, Giselle.
Say hey, Giselle, y'all.
Hey, Giselle.
All right, hold on. Let it sit.
Oh my goodness.
We are all staring at you right
We're all
now.
staring.
Just let it sink in.
Do me a
Good.
favor. Look around the room. How many millionaires and multimillionaires do you see that you know of? Okay. All right. Cool. Stay standing. How many millionaires or multimillionaires do we have in the room? Just stand up real quick. Hey, D, if you don't get up, Melvin, I know. Listen, you better, Sarah. Okay. Wow. They mad successful. You didn't even notice them. You didn't know. Kenny. Oh, wow. These people, you didn't even know who they were.
Oh.
Right. What I'm saying is, you don't gotta be yo. First off, this is the perfect example. Okay, I be begging him to come outside. He's the first person to coach me in understanding a customer's journey. Like, yo, you got to talk to a customer like this. But then, if they don't buy, you got to talk to them like this. And if they don't buy again, you got to keep following up. He gave me the tip, right? He said, he's on my email list, and I'll never forget it. And I think it was right at the top. It was like an unsubscribe button. And he called me. He said, hey, Shans. He called me Shans like it's my first name. He says, hey, Shans, stop making it easy for people to leave your list. I said, what are you talking about? Just put the unsubscribe button at the bottom.
Way at the bottom.
Oh. I didn't know. But he's the most unassuming, super successful person you'll ever meet. So something in your head says, for you to be successful, everybody got to know you. Who's these people? Okay, go ahead. First, okay, y'all can switch. I'm gonna let you sit down. Come on, let's go. Okay, so
who are these people that are giving you advice? Are these millionaires?
Yes, she's like, you know how people say you got to do lives? Who are these people?
Name them.
To the
Just
mic,
give
to
me
the
5
mic.
names.
You see on
To the mic,
Instagram, like the coaches. The coaches you see on Instagram, people tell you to go live to make the sale and
What
all
is your
that.
business?
I have a few hair and skincare products.
Okay.
So they tell you to go live to make the sale, talk to your
Let's
people.
just talk about who's the they. Who's they?
The coaches that I see.
Call
What
them out.
coaches?
What's their name?
What coaches?
What if they listen to this?
They
They
probably
don't
do.
know you. They still don't know you. They can't see you. What, the video's not there.
Her name is like Biz Coaching by Dion or something like that.
Okay, Biz Coaching by
And
Dion.
Ashley something.
Ashley. Fly King Ashley Ann. She's dope.
Oh, her too. Yeah.
Yep.
Her
Ashley
too.
Ann, she's dope.
I think it's weird to talk in my phone. Like I haven't grasped that yet.
Did you
speak in my phone.
Are you a part of their program or did you buy any courses?
Ashley's I did.
Ashley's?
Mm-hmm.
What did it say?
I haven't started hers, so I'm doing another one right now. I have a 12-week course I have to finish first before I tap into Ashley's. But I bought it while it was on sale.
Sounds like a professional course buyer to me.
Professional course buyer.
I'm not. I just want to catch the sale.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do.
Okay.
You need to find somebody because we might wind up chasing or wanting to be like somebody that we don't really want to be like.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that saying go live, they're going live, but in your head you're saying, yo, I don't want to go live. How can I? Like you need to like tap Kenny on the shoulder. Like, how do you do it, bro?
Tap him on the shoulder.
How do you do that?
Yo, there's so many people that you wouldn't assume that are in this room that's super successful.
Mm-hmm.
So get out of your head that you have to be something that you don't want to be to be successful.
Okay.
That's your biggest fear. That's the biggest problem right now.
Let me also say this, guys. So when I teach entrepreneurs, she's not done. When I help develop entrepreneurs, one of the things that I am very, very, very adamant about is making sure that you are building a business that actually suits who you are and your lifestyle, right? So if you are a person who does not like people, you should not be building a business that forces you to engage with people. You just shouldn't. You just shouldn't, right? People will give you different advice about that. Oh, get over it. There's a real anxiety, right, around dealing with people for people who have an anxiety with dealing with people. So you can't just tell somebody, get over it. What I would tell you to do is try something different. So if you're into skincare, yeah, going live is a strategy, right, for organic marketing, but so are paid ads. When's the last time, Kenny, you went live to teach on? He doesn't go live. He's going to start going live, right? But he doesn't go live in years. It's just not what he runs ads. I don't run ads. I go live, right? Would you guys believe that I'm super shy?
No.
Chance?
It was the weirdest thing when I saw her. I'm like, what are you Donni, she's comfortable when she's comfortable, but when she don't really know everybody, she like goes into this weird little shell. Like
Chance will try to pull me in circles, and I'm like, wait, no. Like, do you remember when you got me on the Clubhouse app? And we were at the E-Complex. We had just filmed a podcast, and here's Clubhouse, this new thing. I just heard about it that day. And he's like, yo, get your phone, join the room. And it's like hundreds of people in this room. I see that I'm on stage, and I hear him say, well, we want Donni to come on and say something. She's super dope. And I'm looking at him like, I will cut you today. Like, right? Or why would you do that? Like, I was so, like, I felt like I wanted to vomit. But my personality is also to push through that because I know that that fear is unreal. What can people on a phone do to me? What you gonna do? Say something?
What's your favorite
You're
product?
muted. You can't even say anything.
What's some of your favorite products that you like, apparel that you like?
That I sell or just in general?
That you buy? Some stuff that you like to buy.
What's your favorite skincare other than yours? Books.
I love books. I'm a bibliophile, hoard
Who's
books.
your favorite author?
Ashley Antoinette.
When's the last time you heard Ash go live?
Okay, think on that. What's your favorite skincare products, lotions?
Other than yours.
Kyra Shays Medleys.
Who?
Kyra Shays Medleys.
Who's that?
A girl I went to high school with.
Oh, really? Oh, dope. That's what's up. Any other products or services that you use?
No, because I mainly use my stuff.
Yeah. What kind of shirt is that?
I got it from, I don't know. It's a
But
no-name brand.
And you don't know you don't own, who owns the Shade Room?
Angie. I do know that. Her name's Angie.
I know some woman. Nobody knows her. She got one of the biggest brands online. Most of the products and services that we use is not because we know the owner. There's a bunch of different strategies. So you might need a coach. Or you can partner with somebody who likes being outside. They just don't know business. They don't have a vision. They love being on the gram. They got followers, but they ain't making no money. And you could come to them with a really good idea and say, hey, push this, you the face of it. Remember this, if you're taking notes, whoever controls the spotlight controls the show.
Yep.
Whoever controls the spotlight controls the show. I got tired of being on stages and people book me to speak and they tell me what topic to talk on. So I built my own stage. And I get to dictate where the spotlight goes. We'll put the spotlight on this person for about 45 minutes. I'll highlight that person.
Right.
When I'm done highlighting that person, I'll highlight somebody else.
Right.
You can't take my show from me. And then there'll be a lot of people saying, yo, I want you to put the spotlight on me. Or you might be the person who takes these influencers who love being in front of people and you put some money in their pocket and all of them are building your brand. So your perception of what it takes to be successful, it's backwards.
I'm
But
glad
it's
you
okay.
said that real quick. So if you're
Is she
taking
done?
notes, yeah, you're done.
Okay. Give her a round of applause. And how was it? How was it being in front of people? How was it? How was the experience? It's
Did
over.
you die though?
But did you die?
But did you die though? Hey guys, write this down. Whether I believe it's true or I believe it's not true, both answers are right. What you believe about yourself is 100% correct because the hardest thing to defeat is your own mind. The hardest thing to defeat is your own mind. So I am shy and I mention it occasionally just to relate to other people so that you can eliminate the excuse of, oh, Donni was meant for this because her personality is blah, blah, blah. I am in the house most days, unless I'm doing other stuff that's none of your business. But I am in the house most days, right? I am to myself. I love my family and my friends and those close to me. I don't really do a whole lot. I do not tell myself, though, that it's because I'm shy or antisocial if I want to fix it. So if you are a person who's dealing with anxiety, stop saying it. Stop claiming that. What you speak to yourself about yourself becomes matter of fact. So shift your perspective, write it down differently, speak it differently every single day. In my bathroom, I have Post-it notes. Anybody used to watch the show Being Mary Jane with Gabrielle Union? You saw the Post-it notes she had all over her window? That's me. In my bathroom, Post-it notes everywhere, right? I used to keep them hidden. These Post-it notes used to only be inside. I have an armoire inside my closet, and you would have to open the door to see them because I didn't want anybody else to see what I had on these Post-it notes. It was secret. It was secret that I wanted to be a millionaire. It was secret that I wanted to be an amazing mom. It was secret that I wanted to be a wife. But then I asked myself last year, why is this a secret? These are things that I want to do, and I'm going to profess it and confess it boldly and loudly. So I moved those Post-it notes and I put them in my bathroom. So now if you come over and you see it, you come over and you see it. Yes, I want that and I want that and I want that and I'm going for it. One of the reasons that we can't break the cycle of our own fear is because we're scared to share with other people what we want instead. It's easy to say, I'm shy. Yeah, I'm shy. I don't do a whole lot of talking. But it's difficult to say to someone, my goal is to be bold and outgoing and make 10 friends this month. Because now you have to do it. So I want you to be bold and outgoing and make one friend today. I just want you to get one phone number today, an organic phone number, and it needs to be with somebody who you can remember the next day. Maybe get an accountability partner. Anybody else in here dealing with being shy or anxious or overwhelmed? Anybody else in the room? Yep. Okay, right under the speaker, raise your hand for me again. You guys become friends, all right? Y'all create a little accountability group and practice whatever you need to practice.
It's so funny because the shy people, they raise their hand, but it's like this.
Yeah, I'm like, it's me. But yeah, become friends tonight, right? Find other people like you. David and I became friends. We want to make our first 7-figure year. All right, what we're doing. At the end of every month, David calls me. What's your number? What's your number? it was such a big deal to we put it out in February.
Mhm.
I have never in my life told a mass group of people that I wanted to be a millionaire, that my plan, that my goal, not even that I want to be, but that my goal is $1 million. I always stay safe in saying that my goal is multiple six figures, because that could be 200,000, it could be 900,000.
Mm-hmm.
It was safe,
Right.
because I'm gonna hit the multiple six figures.
Right.
That's a no-brainer. But putting it out there that I am going to
Pressure.
make $1 million this year, when we said it on the podcast, I felt sick to my stomach, because now I got to go do it. Now I have to go do it, right? And David holds me accountable. I hold him accountable. And for some reason, when we did that, my numbers started to go up like crazy.
It's crazy.
Like crazy. Like there's no cap to it. David said something earlier about making sure you are dealing with people who have done it. How many people know? How many people want to be a millionaire? Raise your hand, raise your hand. High. Okay. Keep your hand raised if you can tell me, without calling it out, how much you need to make minimally in order to make $1 million. What do you have to make per month to the number? Keep your hand up, because I might call on you. Oh, now the hands go down because you get...
So yeah. Yeah, I was really running the numbers with the calculations in the.
Let me ask you this. How can you have a goal to become something and you don't even know what the prerequisite is? How do you set a goal to be a millionaire and you don't even know what the number is? It's $83,333.33.
Every month.
83,300. So now, see, here's what's so crazy. When I opened up my armoire and decided last year that I would move my goals out, because I'm not hiding from my goals anymore. I don't care what you think when you come to my house. You're in my damn bathroom. Think what you want to think, right? When I moved the goal, I realized that my goals were conflicting one another. Secretly, I wanted to be a millionaire, right? But my goal said earn $50,000 a month. That's what was written. Earn $50,000 a month. It's a contradictory goal. $50,000 a month is what? $600,000 a year? $600,000. So what I am saying and what I am seeing is not the same as what I'm secretly praying and hoping for. The moment we said it, the numbers started to change. I would tell David, like, we had this conversation. I can't get past 500,000. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can figure out the way to 500,000. I can't seem to figure out the way to $1 million. I had $250,000 in the bag. I can see the 500,000, but I can't see the 1 million. Like, I see all the zeros, but how do I get there? Well, the first thing that I have to do is stop lying to myself and writing on paper that I want to make $50,000 a month. No, I don't. Yeah. That's not what I want to make.
Let's put it in bullet points for those that's taking notes. For one, let's identify what we're so afraid of. Okay? Let's identify what you're so afraid of. Because
Write
it's
it down.
something you're afraid of something. And we got to identify it. We're afraid of something. I didn't want to go for the $1 million goal because I knew I had to do a higher ticket, and I'm afraid of asking people for more money.
Who said that?
Come to the mic. Come to the mic. Now you can come straight forward. Yeah, there you go. Yep, you got it. There we go.
Are we good on the mic?
Yeah. There we go. Go for it. What's your name?
Samar. Yeah, I've talked to you a couple of times. I bought your book. We went live before. I've told you my idea. Okay. I actually argued with you on live, and I was like, dang. Afterwards, I realized I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So that's why I say I don't know what I'm afraid of. I'm just trying stuff.
Okay, let's just interview it. What's the goal?
I want to build a professional track and field league.
So why haven't you done it?
I have no idea how.
You have no idea how?
Yeah, okay. I've been online building a brand. It's called Trackletics. It's at 31.9 thousand followers right now. We get about 1 million impressions and views a
Cool,
day.
cool. But real quick. The goal is to build a track and field brand.
Professional track and field league.
Professional track and field league.
Yes.
And the reason you haven't done it is because you don't know how.
Yep.
And I believe I remember this conversation.
Yeah.
And I said, yo, find somebody who built something similar.
I actually have a mentor that built a professional lacrosse league.
So is he not telling you how to do it?
Yes and no. The
What do you
sports
mean?
are a little bit different. I told him my idea. I mean, it was just like, he kind of supported, yeah, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Get investors, that type of stuff. But how? You know?
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, okay. Cool. So he said, get investors.
Mhm.
And now your question is how?
Yeah.
And what's his answer to that? All right, look, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I got to tell you, finally, you asked for it, and we created a Patreon, okay? We created an inner circle. We have amazing stories, amazing information, how-tos from the episodes. The only thing we're missing is a community. So it's about that time. We put together our Patreon, we put together a community because we have to have conversation around the information. So even this podcast we're listening to right now, there needs to be conversation. I want to hear what you got. Like, let's throw some stuff back and forth. And because we're like-minded, we're all going in the same direction. When we connect in a community, we can connect on other stuff outside the community because we're building real relationships. Okay, so check out the Patreon. We got 3 tiers. I don't care what tier you join. The support is appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. Now back to the episode.
He didn't really give me an answer to that.
Why not?
That was the answer, investors.
So was your follow-up question, how do I get investors? And he said, I don't know, or he just walked away, or?
I mean, no, it was more so for me to figure out like what type of investors I want.
Did you
how much
ask him how to get investors?
No, I didn't ask him
Thank you. All right.
Well,
Give him a
you're not
round of applause for
asking the right
honesty.
questions.
Give him a round of applause for honesty. The first thing we gotta stop lying to ourselves.
Okay.
I say, what are you afraid of? I want to build it, but I don't know how. I'm afraid because I don't know how. And then your mentor says, find investors. And then I say, well, did you ask them how to find investors? And you start talking. I say, did you ask them how you find investors? And you start talking. Then eventually, finally, we say, no, I didn't ask them. The fear is, I don't know how to do something, but I didn't even ask him like clarity on the advice that you gave me.
Well, I won't say it's the fear that I don't know how to do it. My mission is to figure out how to do it. So I wake up
Are
every
you
day
afraid
trying
of
to
asking
how to do it?
questions?
No, that's why I got on his live.
Right, but here's the thing. You need to figure out what you're afraid of.
That's why I'm up here.
Right, because it's like, first you're afraid of because you don't know how to do it.
Okay.
But you're not even asking the questions on how to do it.
I would say I'm asking questions on how to do it.
Okay,
Are there better questions? Is that what you're
there's
saying?
always better questions.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's the thing. What have you done so far to build this professional track league?
So I've built a track network, as I would say. There's coaches in Florida, Texas.
Hold on, no, I remember this conversation, bro.
Yeah.
I think the advice was,
Go build a track.
I said, go to like the local schools.
Yeah.
You get a park
Yep.
and you invite them to compete against each other.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I asked some people. They asked about money.
What?
They asked about money.
Who's they?
Athletes.
The kids?
No, not kids. Professionals.
Well, what?
But
I want to create a professional track league.
Okay.
So I asked professionals that follow the account, how do they feel about the idea, being on teams, what they want to start a track meet.
Problem.
They asked about money.
That's the problem. And I'm going to help you with this.
Okay.
Because it's an idea. So
Okay.
if I'm like, hey, Donni, I think I'm going to do an event and I need you to speak. Kenny, I need you to speak. I think I'm going to do this event. I don't have a date just yet, but I think I'm going to need you to speak. What do y'all think they're going to say? I'm down, but you got to, how much? I need a bag. What I did when I started my conference, I put the money down on the venue and got a date and a payment link. And I started telling everybody, I'm like, yo, Donni, I'm about to have 1,000 people in this venue.
He did.
Don't you want to be in front of that audience?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I can get you a slot. I don't know if you got a product or service, it's 1,000 people, you could do your thing. Kenny made thousands. Well, Kenny made way more off my event than me because people love this presentation and rock with him. Everybody, Marquell, everybody made more money than me at my event. But the reason I was able to get them is because first off, I'm like, I'm gonna go get I'm walking in it. I'm walking in the vision.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of people not showing up. I'm not even afraid of not being able to make good on the promise saying, Donni, there's going to be 1,000 people there. Because in my heart, I believe it's going to happen. So you need to go get and I'm going to give you the same advice. Go find a track, get a website, put the teams together.
Okay, so I've been building this brand since 2017. The people that follow the account know exactly what we're going after.
Bro, you got to listen to me.
Okay.
I'm not talking about a brand.
No, so the brand is a professional track league. Think about the NFL. That is a brand. NBA, that is a brand. So I'm building.
No, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so when you say that you've been building the brand, I have a feeling that you mean you've been building the Instagram page for it, right?
Business.
The Instagram page.
So we have clothing. I'm currently building a magazine for the business to, I would say more so, I'm focusing on media. So I understand that sports is media, right? I know the athletes need more representation. They need sponsors. There's a big problem with track and field. I believe this is actually $1 billion idea. There's a big problem with track and field. Allison Felix had one sponsorship. She got pregnant. That one sponsor dropped her.
Hold on, slow down for me, because what you're doing now is you're spewing off all of these features, right? You just said there's a lot of problems and big problems in the track and field industry. What one problem are you trying to solve?
A professional track and field league.
That's not a problem.
That is a problem.
What is the problem?
We don't have a league for our sport. So, for example...
Okay, so then that's the problem,
Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah.
COVID happened. All sports shut down.
Mm-hmm.
NFL came back. NBA came back. Hockey came back. Lacrosse came back. Nothing for track and field. So we literally sat at home running around the street. But
you know why?
Why?
Because you ain't get a field and put the league together.
How do I? That's it. How do I?
The only thing I can tell you is, one, you need to find a coach, and when you get the coach, you got to listen.
You got to listen.
Okay.
You have a rebuttal for every little thing. Like, we're really trying to help you, right? So you got a magazine, you want media, you want this. People need money. Stop, because you're about to cut me off. Just stop.
I'm not about to say nothing. I'm thinking.
If you are if the problem that you've identified for your niche market is that there's talented professional level track stars in waiting, right? And the only thing they have is the Olympics.
Yeah, every 4 years.
If that's the problem, and you want them to be able to perform just like the WNBA and the NBA and the NFL, the only focus that you should have is on creating the league. So I would be going to the schools, like David said, and finding senior and junior athletes who are competing, who need a chance to shine as a professional. They're going to go to college. Who's scouting them for anything other than the Olympics? I am at universities looking for these athletes, and I'm putting people together. I'm creating a Slack channel. I'm creating a Facebook page. I'm dumping these track stars in there. I'm connecting with their parents and saying, hey guys, I want to start collecting your information because we are in the process of putting together a professional league for track specifically, and I want to have easy access to you. I'm sending them emails and keeping them engaged and updated with what I'm doing and the progress that I'm making. And once I got 20 or 30 people, however many I need to put on a track meet, I am then looking for sponsors that say, hey, we've got this really great idea. I believe it's $1 billion idea. I've got 25 athletes who are ready to go. All we need is sponsorships for our very first track meet on July 25th, 2020, whatever. That's how you start your professional track league. Go and find a track where you can have people practice. Start with the state that you have access to, probably the one that you live in. Go and scout these high schools and these colleges. Garner the interest with a confident pitch. Get them at practice. Put them in a group where they're mixing and mingling and they're making friends and like, yeah, I would love to be on a team with you. And then have them practicing. Show footage. Your Instagram page is not making money. Leave the merchandise alone. Leave the magazine alone. Your focus only is finding athletes who want to train and run and perform professionally. What is your focus?
It's finding athletes that want to train and run professionally.
And what are we doing with the magazine?
Nothing.
What are we doing with the t-shirts?
Nothing.
Take it out of your Instagram. Don't confuse your audience because it's going to confuse your talent and you're going to stay confused. Because all of that you said 5 minutes ago was just confusion.
True.
Confusion masked in what you think is self-confidence.
Okay.
You feel me?
I wouldn't say I'm not confident.
No, you're very confident about the wrong thing. You're confident about confusion.
Okay.
And I just gave you clarity.
I do
so
wanna-
everything else that you were about to say, save it.
I do want to say thank you. That's
You're
what I was
very
going to say. So this is the first time that I've actually heard steps as far as you said, create a group, dump people in it, connect with their parents. I wasn't thinking that. I'm thinking I need money to pay athletes to get them to come. So that's why I was creating merchandise, a magazine, stuff like that. But I do understand now the trajectory of actually building a group, connecting people, mixing, like, you know, getting people to actually understand we need a professional track league instead of just the individual
Real quick,
like stuff that we have.
Just out of curiosity, how much money did you think you needed?
I did do some math based off of other professional sports leagues, and it was about $500,000 just to divide.
$500,000?
Yeah, just to divide the teams, the franchise. So a team, a head coach, like chiropractor, trainers. That's the vision of what I see. So the math was $500,000, but in order to get there, I thought I needed clothing and a magazine to build the money. But I understand where she's going now.
But you don't need $500,000 either. My boy, he put together like these football leagues for kids, and the people just paid to. Yo, really? You need a referee for a league? You need a track,
a coach,
and teams,
and some runners. All right.
It sounds that simple, but it's really not.
Here's the thing. It sounds that simple because it is.
Okay.
And once you believe that
it's that simple.
So this is what AD. Is AD still here? AD here? So he told us about. He said, "Yo, we called him on live. He's like, yo, what's the best way to make $1 million?" He said, make 10.
$2 million.
He said it like that. In my head, yo, 10, that ain't that easy. He like, yo, yes, it is.
We just asked about $1 million.
He said, yo, if you want to make $1 million, make 10. Put together a plan for 10. You'll stumble on $1 million. I promise you, I employed that. Once he said it was easy. In my head, I think it's hard, but I accepted it. I just borrowed his belief for a little bit. And I said, oh. And I promise you, once you get around different circles where their zero is higher, the money starts to dwindle in your head.
Yeah, for sure.
It does.
For sure.
Thank you so much, man. You're very welcome. Round of applause. All right, so
what I want you guys to take away from this, though, is there's somebody else who's sitting in here who just hadn't spoken yet, and you have an idea and you haven't launched it yet because you feel like you have to have all these pieces in place before you do. You don't. The very first version of your product or service does not have to be amazing. It just has to be valuable. Yeah. We are in here and it's hot. The sound was sketchy. Did you learn something in here so far today? The situation isn't perfect, but it's valuable, right? And so let's stop focusing on, and I say this all the time, probably every episode, let's stop focusing on trying to get people from A to Z. You may only be prepared for A to B. Stay there. Stay there. So he may only be prepared enough to go to these schools and get them in a group for now. Stay there. Start selling the idea of what it would be like to have a professional track team. Wherever you are in your place, you don't need more money. You need to start. You don't need more people. You need to start. You don't need more inventory. You need to start. Start right where you are. And if your goal was to take people from A to triple Z, stop. Mm-hmm. And just go from A to B.
So number one, we want to identify what you're afraid of. Because, in keeping it 100, bro, it's something you're afraid of. You just haven't shared it yet. Whether it's starting too small or failing, or it's something. And I figure we could just ask ourselves the question, what are you so afraid of? Look in the mirror. What am I so afraid of? If I wasn't afraid, what would I do? What could I accomplish if I wasn't so afraid? So one, we just got to identify what we're afraid of. And then two, interview the fear. Why am I so afraid of this?
You had a question?
Yes, sir. Go for it. To the mic, 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 to the mic. It's a live show here. You know what I mean? They need to hear you. And introduce yourself.
My name's Keandre. And
Keandre.
His original question was, how do you figure out what you're afraid of? Mm-hmm. Which I was looking forward to getting answered.
Oh, for sure.
Now that's my question. How do you figure out what you're afraid of?
Yeah, that went down a whole nother path. So I think the first part is you just ask yourself with a sober mind. It seems like maybe it's not answering your question, But I've sat down with myself and say, yo, what am I afraid of? So this whole high ticket sale thing, I'm like, yo, what am I afraid of? And I realized, at first I thought I was just afraid of being on stage. That was me lying to myself. My real fear was people thinking that I'm all about the money. That's my real fear. Because I built a brand for the beginning entrepreneur. But if I try to sell them something higher ticket, then they're gonna think that I'm just so money hungry. And that's not the case. But that's my real fear. So what I had to do was I had to get around somebody who wasn't afraid of what I was afraid of. So one practical thing you could do is find some people who are fearless. True story. I got a bunch of stories that remind me to get back to what I was saying, just in case I go off. I was young, and I got in a fight. Well, I didn't get in a fight. The guy punched me in my face, and I just fell. And I don't know what happened. I was mad. I started pushing the guy. I was in elementary school. I was pushing the guy, pushing him. I didn't really want to fight. I just want to push him. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what's up now? What's up now? I didn't expect to fight because there's a bunch of girls around. So I'm pushing the guy. He punches me right in my eye. And I don't remember like him cocking. I just remember like getting off the ground. So at that point, I was like, wow, he beat me up. And at that point, I realized, dang, I can't fight. That's crazy. So what happened was, they break it up, and my brother is coming from the middle school. And I see him and his friends coming, like walking up to the school, because the middle school is like, you got to pass the school. And I see my brother, and I instantly get courage. Not because I wanted my brother to do anything or fight the kid, but as soon as I saw my brother say, yo, I got to go handle this problem. He's like, yo, who? I'm like, nah, chill. I got it, man. He sucker punched me. I'm about to knock him out. I got more confident because I was around somebody who wasn't afraid of the thing that I was afraid of. That's why I had to find some people who are at a higher level who's not afraid of what I'm afraid of. So I had to find those people. And once you get in that environment, you stop being afraid. You stop being afraid of poverty. You stop being afraid of like making money and people judging you. Because it's being in the conversation, they helped me realize that the more you charge somebody, the more benevolent you're being. You're helping somebody. You're helping somebody invest more in themselves. That's why I remember in the beginning, I was like, yo, I just want y'all to invest. I'm not here to sell y'all nothing. I don't have nothing to sell you. I got some stuff to sell you. I'm not going to sell it though. But I want you to invest in something because I know once you start investing, the money becomes smaller to you. If you keep investing $1,000, you keep investing $1,000, another $1,000. When somebody has an opportunity to sell you a course or something for $1,000, you're like, oh, well, sure. I'm not afraid of it anymore. But I'm telling you, you got to start investing so you can get around people who invest. And then you're not afraid to invest anymore. So what happened for me is whatever I'm afraid of, I get around people who's not afraid of that. Thus the reason I invested in this $55,000 program to help me get more confidence. Does that make sense?
So I want to answer your question directly. A couple of things that you can do.
Was my story's not direct?
It wasn't.
Did it help
but it was a good story. It was a great story.
It was a good story, though, right?
It was a great story.
You was feeling my story.
I did. I definitely felt the story. How do you identify what you're afraid of? Let me just kind of let you in on me. When the real estate market crashed that you mentioned earlier back in 2008 to 2010.
This story better be direct.
I lost everything. I had a humongous house and the cars and the clothes and the handbags and all this stuff. I lost everything. I remember sitting in my house that I was foreclosing on, looking at all these handbags that I couldn't pawn for enough money to pay my mortgage, right? And I ended up losing all this stuff. And as I started to rebuild my life over years, I would say things like, I don't need that. I had that before and it brought me no value. It added no value. And so I convinced myself that I didn't need these luxury things that I had once loved. And as I started to make more and more money, I still was attached to this. I don't need that. I'm not falling back into that trap ever again. I am going to stay with basic things. I don't need the luxury and the designer. And I started to look at other people. I would look at the women who were riding around in Rolls Royces and think, she probably can't even afford that. I'm being judgmental. I would look at women wearing designer this and that every day and be disgusted. Like, do you really need that? My fear was hidden in my judgment because I was judging something because I was afraid to try to get it again because it was attached to a loss. Right? Something that I loved significantly, I lost. I'm just really into fashion. Okay. I am.
Did y'all see her shoes last week, though? Y'all see the Monicas?
They see the Tom Fords today.
They're good. Those are good. Right. Those are good.
Anyway, and those were cute too. My Monicas were cute. Right? Anyway.
Proceed.
I like these things, but I started to judge other people with it because their pleasure was attached to something that brought me tremendous pain. And so I would look at this stuff like, I don't want it. I'm not getting it. I don't want it. I'm not getting it. And what ended up happening was somebody gifted me a handbag. Somebody gifted me a handbag. And of course I took it. And as I'm carrying the handbag, it was like walking back into my world again. Like, oh, I love it. I want more of it. But I don't want to buy it. I don't want to be dumb again because I remember that people used to tell me, you're spending your money on these things and you're dumb. And I was convinced that buying these designer luxuries are what made me go broke. And that's not what made me go broke. What made me go broke was my irresponsible relationship with money. I had no knowledge about how to spend my money, how to create a budget for myself. And so when I got that handbag, it was like, I don't feel disgusted. I feel happy. And I want another one. Does this come in a bigger size? Like that. And so then I would start buying things little by little. And then I noticed that when I started buying things, I became less judgmental. And I had to prove to myself that if I could buy this $2,500 handbag, I could still pay my rent. And I did. And then I would do it again. And I would. The fear was attached to a previous pain. So sometimes you have to look at, what are you judging? What are you judging other people for? What are you judging other people for? Are you judging other people for the way they do business? Are you judging other people because they have a high ticket and you don't have a high ticket? Oh, why would she be charging that much for a course? I got the same information and I charge $27. Stay broke. That's cool. I like it. Keep trying to sell to 200,000 people a year while I'm over here and I need 400. Right? Do you? And I used to look at people like that. I used to, when I built my business, I had this fear. I didn't want to charge high ticket. Kenny made me charge high ticket. He encouraged me. He didn't make me. He encouraged me to sell high ticket. I had a program that I was selling for like $29. My coaching was $97 a month at one point. $97 a month. Now that number has a comma in it. And annually, it could go from a 5-digit number to a 6-digit number to work with me on a one-on-one level at this point. I didn't have the confidence to do it. It wasn't that I didn't think I was valuable. It was, what if nobody buys this shit? Stuff.
Thanks.
Sorry, mom, dad, in-laws. What if nobody buys it? What if I put this flyer out here for my program and nobody likes the picture? That was the fear.
I think that's a lot of people's fear.
It's a lot of, what if I put the content out there and it gets no engagement? What if I do a sales call and they say no? Well, guess what? I have put content out there that got no engagement. I have done a sales call that resulted in no money. But I kept going. I kept going because here's what I understand about fear. Fear isn't real. It really isn't. Fear is your mind's way of processing what you think can happen. But has it happened? We're fearing something that we have not proven to happen yet.
Do you know what you're afraid of? Have you ever sat there and tried to figure it out?
I'm literally thinking about it right now.
What is your business?
That's here's the thing. That's my biggest point. We have to at least ask ourselves, let me try to figure out what I'm so afraid of. Anybody, like, through this conversation, you start to think, yo, this is what I'm afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start to interview that thing, why am I afraid of that? And if that does happen, then what happens? So I was working at, and I want to, we'll get into your business. 2 seconds. I got stories.
He got stories for
I'm
days.
getting my stories off. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So I was about to leave my job at the Cheesecake Factory, and my fear was, I don't want to fail. So I got a fear of failure. That's valid, right?
That's a valid fear.
Leave my job to be a full-time entrepreneur. I'm like, yo, what would that would be terrible. Would you agree? Think about quitting your job to start a business and it doesn't work. Whew, scary stuff, right? Valid fear. But then I had to interview it. And I said, well, what happens if my greatest fear happens?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So I quit my job and I worked this business. And if I fail and nobody buys it, I left on good standing, meaning I can come back to the Cheesecake Factory. I know I can get that job back, or I can get a servant job somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, wow, if my biggest fear happens to where my business fails, what's probably going to happen is I have to work back at the Cheesecake Factory. Meaning, at the point when I'm having this conversation, my biggest fear is me being exactly where I am right now. I catch that? My biggest fear is me working at the Cheesecake Factory. But I'm already working at the Cheesecake Factory at this point. And that's when I said, all right, I'm out. But I had to interview it. Okay, I'm afraid of losing all my money. What happens if I lose all my money? Do I die? What happens if I go out and I quit my job and I have to go live with my parents? What's the worst thing that can happen? I'll just live with my parents and I have low overhead. Okay, so your question was?
Some people can't identify a fear, and it's an issue that's attached to childhood trauma.
That's a fact.
Because, especially as boys, sometimes you are made to feel as though fear is a weakness, right? And so maybe the fear is you exposing yourself to your own weakness. So you're subconsciously blocking it out.
Yeah.
Did you grow up having to be tough? Did you grow up having to look out for other people? Were you the person on speed dial if stuff hit the fan, right? And so a lot of men don't want to expose fear because their parents associated it to a weakness. Boys don't cry, tough it up, be a man, be a boy. When really you should have just been a boy and cried. Because now we're adults with the dysfunction of not knowing how to express a weakness, right? And that might not be your case. Is it your case?
I'm thinking about it.
Therapy, ain't it?
Yeah.
I can tell by your posture, right? Believe it or not, there are only a handful of issues that we all go through. Mm-hmm. Some of us have different combinations of those issues, but there's only a handful of issues that we go through. That knowing people is what makes me a good coach. It's not that I know everything about business. I know people. I know how you're feeling. I know what you're thinking. And I know, because I've experienced it with someone else, how to give you guidance and how to overcome that. If you can't identify a fear, your fear is being afraid of identifying the fear.
Yeah, confronting it. Yeah, that's good. Okay,
that's what it is.
Let's get into what's your business?
Before I say that, I would say that she just helped me because my brand is called Every Season, which represents quitters never win. Yep. Every day you wake up is another opportunity to win. So what she just said is kind of correct. My fear may be that I don't want people to know that I fear something because I'm supposed to represent quitters never win. Yeah. I'm supposed to be this stand-up person. I'm supposed to have this certain type of mindset.
Yo.
Own it.
You gotta own that. You'll sell more clothes if you are failing.
In front of people.
Because the message is, I'm not going to quit though. Yo, every loss you take, bro.
What?
Come on, give me some. Every loss you take, highlight it. I am going through the worst time of my life. But I live by this.
Like I'm struggling with X, Y, and Z, but I'm still not going to quit.
You low-key can't even win too much without... Because you can't relate to people.
Right. And think about it. Your audience isn't a group of winners. Your audience is a group of people that you're inspiring to stop quitting and try to win something. So if all you show is strength and all you show is amazing posture and all you show is win after win, they can't relate to that. Hell, I can't relate to that.
Yep.
Show me a weakness. Show me when something happens and your day isn't going well. Don't dwell on it, but show it to me. Be a case study and show me that you kept going.
Yo, it's
right?
strength in that, bro. It's strength.
Power in exposing your weakness. It's so much power in exposing a weakness. It makes you vulnerable, which makes you relatable. Every person in this room is vulnerable to something.
That makes sense. That's why I have so much of an issue with creating content. Even after I went to your content creation class, like I wrote down notes, I learned a lot, but I still came home and I didn't really start what I should have.
Because you're trying to be perfect.
Yeah, you're trying to be perfect.
Perfect.
Yo, at every boot camp, I'm telling people, yo, just create something. I made a post the other day that said, yo, if you're terrible at creating, just keep creating.
Here's what I want you to do.
You can't even be terrible at something for long if you keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Real quick, can I tell them before you start another story?
Tell me stories.
What I want you to do is sit back in your chair and I want you to pick a picture of yourself and I want you to post it and I want the caption to be something like, okay, guys, transparency moment. I created this brand because I want to be the voice of hope that inspires somebody else to win. Mm-hmm. But I just realized today that I haven't shown you any wins. Because if you're always doing a great job, that's not a win. Yeah. A win means that you have to start from here and come here. You have to accomplish something, overcome something. And so today, I am overcoming my need to feel perfect for you. Mm-hmm. And I want to hit someone else who's struggling with this perfection or this imposter syndrome. I struggle too. Yeah. My weakness was my own fear of disappointing you by being vulnerable. I want you to write that post and what you're going to do going forward. And that doesn't mean every single day you're talking about a weakness and a vulnerability, but you got to sprinkle it in there. Mm-hmm. You can't win the race if you start at the finish line. You have to start at the start.
Mm-hmm. That's a bar. That's a bar. Okay. Come on. Yes, sir. All right, so we oh, goodness gracious.
We are way over.
Yeah. Y'all all right? Y'all good? All right, just come to the mic.
We can stop if y'all not feeling it.
Okay, the lady, then my man. Hello. All right, go to the mic.
Wait, I do think that you should make that a shirt if you make shirts. I'm not quitting, though.
I'm not quitting, though.
You better come.
Yeah, if you don't make it. Joe? I'm not quitting.
First of all, Joe don't have he don't have one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got that meeting on Tuesday.
I have two small questions, right? Why is it that on your journey to success, people hate you, then they love you, they hate you, and then they love you again? Somebody said it best, and then I've felt it. And then the other question that I had is dealing with expectations.
Explain it. Explain dealing with expectations.
So I'm a singer, right? And I've known a lot of people for a really long time. And on that journey of them growing, I've supported them and I've loved them because I love growth. Now in my journey of growing as a singer, I've realized that certain people that I expected to be there for me are causing me heartbreak because they're not there. Yeah. And I know that they will come back because I know that they're still somehow checking in and kind of trying to be just in case, but they're not there.
Yeah. I think they're going through their own process of life. Like people are going through seasons. So I realized if you don't like me, that's something that you're dealing with. And we just got to be sympathetic and empathetic and just understand that they are on, like something's going on with them. That don't have nothing to do with you. And you shouldn't let it affect you. Because that's their problem to deal with. So I've been on this journey of people that I rock with, and you can almost feel the tension when we meet. Because now I'm a reflection of what they're not. Mm-hmm. And I can't help you with that. I got a family. All of you guys came because we decided to keep going in spite of people saying that we shouldn't do it. Yeah, y'all know when Donni came on? Oh my gosh. They're like, yo,
Y'all
please
read the comments on YouTube?
Get her off of there. Like, why is she there?
People hated me on the podcast at first.
But we had a
like
vision.
straight hate mail. Get her off of there. She brings no value. She's not dope. She's this. She's irritating. She's blah. Because people were accustomed to only seeing David. They were accustomed to seeing David.
Yep.
I didn't ask for the opportunity. He presented it and I took it and I honored my commitment. And I even went to David and I said, David, I don't know, this might be hurting your brand because people ain't rocking with it. David said, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. I said, I'm not chasing the comments.
Not chasing the
I'm
comments.
like, you my sister. It's dope. I want to have this conversation. I want to do it with you because I like doing it.
Yeah.
And if I like doing it, there's a bunch of people out there that like what I like. And that's what I focus on.
That's what we focused on.
Not the people that don't like doing what I don't like.
And now you can hardly find a bad comment. Now people are commenting on other videos like, well, when's Donni coming back, right? You just have to keep going. And I hate to give that kind of advice because it's so much easier. That is one of those things that's easier said than done. But I learned to stop focusing. One thing that strikes a nerve with me, especially with influencers or people who have influence, is when they only go in their comments and respond to the negative stuff. They only focus on the people who don't like them or don't agree with them, right? And I get why you want to respond to some of that, but for every one bad comment that you respond to, go and respond to 10 great ones of people who do support you. Yeah. So for every one bad person that says something negative about you, go and have 3 phone calls with other people who make you feel good. A lot of times, our own disappointment around people who don't like us or don't support us is our own issue of needing and requiring validation from other people.
For sure. So you shouldn't feel bad because there's friction in a relationship. You should feel bad for the person and be empathetic for what they're going through. Something's happening mentally. And you just got to pray for them.
Well, and then ask yourself, why do I need this validation? Why do I need this person to validate me, right? So for me, for a long time in my entrepreneurial journey...
You got mad stories too, yo. Don't act like it's just me with the story. You got mad stories.
But it's directly related. My stories are related. So the thing, right? Like, I felt like my mom didn't support me for a long time as an entrepreneur. It crushed my mom that her only daughter didn't finish college. I went to school for chemical engineering. She bragged about it. Her friends' kids are going for being an attorney and a doctor and this, that, and the other. Oh, my daughter's going for chemical engineering. And then your daughter dropped out of college? What? And then I got a good job and I started making 6 figures very early in life, right? Selling cars and houses and things like that. And then I decided that I wanted to do this entrepreneurial thing. And my mom is like, what are you even talking about? Go get a job. And it wasn't, I was still making money.
That's gotta hurt your mom, though.
Yes. And it did hurt. Like, I couldn't pay my mom to come and sit in a room like this just to hear me talk. Like, I just want you to see what I do so you get it and maybe you'll be proud. All I wanted was for my mom to be proud of me because I was such a disappointment when I decided not to finish school. And in 2017, after I had made multiple 6 figures, after I had become one of the top #1 income earners in a company, my mom still wasn't, you still need to go back to school. You got to go back to college. You got to go get a job. And I'm like, but I pay your bill. I don't understand. But none of that mattered, right? And we can laugh about the story now. What happened was in 2017, one of the people that she admired requested my presence on his platform, Bishop T.D. Jakes. And I flew my mom out as a guest. Oh, she was going for that. She wasn't coming to see me. She was coming to see Bishop T.D. Jakes. But during that process, she saw me. And she saw every other person's reaction to me in the room. She saw the tears. She saw the impact. She saw the situations that were being changed on the spot. And now my mom is my #1 fan. I didn't change anything that I'm doing. She had to see it differently in a way that resonated with her. All that I did before that was remind my mom of her failures.
Facts.
My journey to entrepreneurship was a constant Reminder of, remember when you tried to start the cosmetology business? Failed at that. Remember when you started to do the computer programming business? That didn't work out. Remember when you wanted to do this, that, and the other? That didn't work out. I was a mirror reflection to my mom of what her failures did in her life. And she had to see that the story ain't the same. But I also had to understand that I'm not seeking validation from my mom anymore. I'm going to keep look, if you're proud of me, I'm going to keep going. If you're not proud of me, I'm going to keep going. I would like for you to be proud of me, but either way, I'm going to keep going. That's what you have to decide in your one, why do you want the validation? I mean, we're human, you do, but why, right? Understand why. And then number two, you have to detach yourself from that reason because there's no reason valid enough for you to want validation from people who aren't here for your best interest. There's no way to justify it.
And what was your first question?
Just, on this journey, as I've acquired greater things, right? I feel like I've lost people on the way. And you guys were talking about it a little earlier.
Welcome to life.
Yeah, it happens.
And
are you still friends with all your elementary school friends?
No.
Yeah, right. Just keep it moving.
Yeah,
but yes, it's like I was a person that had a lot of friends, many, many friends.
Me too.
And then all of a sudden, it's like I'm following my dream. I'm in a happy, non-toxic relationship. Now I don't have problems to talk about.
Because
and now
you can't talk about
what's going on now? Where are they?
You just said it. Every time we reach a new level, like, do you know that most of your relationships are trauma bonds? Most of your relationships are trauma bonds. Most of the friends that you have, you met at a time in life that the only thing that's connecting you now is to discuss old people and old situations. Oh, did you run into such and such? You see how big she got now? Did you run into such and such? You saw he was doing this now. These are trauma bonds. And once you decide to be intentional about not talking about that anymore, you don't have anything to talk about. And then you realize, maybe I don't have as much in common with these people as I thought I did. Or when you were in a toxic relationship and so was your best friend in a toxic relationship, this is a trauma bond. And the moment you decide that you will not accept that behavior for yourself anymore, your best friend no longer feels comfortable talking to you about her trauma that you've outgrown. So do you really have anything in common anymore? We got to break up with the trauma that bonds us.
Mm.
Y'all gonna keep on
One more, my man, right there. You got one?
Thank you,
okay. Come on. You're very welcome. To the mic, if you will, my brother.
Anybody ever had that coworker that you go to the back break room and you talk crap about your boss and y'all real tight, y'all go to lunch together just to talk crap, but then when you leave the job, y'all are not friends anymore? Trauma bond.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
I started Taylor's situation. And the question I think that, I guess, to end it tonight, we've talked about getting over our fears and things of that nature.
Did he wrap up our podcast?
I mean, you want to be on it? You want to see? You want to close us out?
I guess the question is, I guess for all of us, because we're all entrepreneurs or interested in that, is how do you, we're all told, or if we listen to enough podcasts, we're told to create a niche and you make money through your niche.
Yep.
But I think a lot of times, or at least for me, myself, is I decided to create a niche for my business. But then I also was like, well, how do we... Oh, it's just fire.
What was that?
Okay, no fire.
Okay.
We don't want to subject ourselves to a small number of people. Like we feel like, hey, there's more people who have to get it, who have to listen to us, or we feel that they need to hear us. Okay. But how do you develop a niche on a global level that everyone's now listening to you, or everyone wants to listen to you? Like you said, you didn't charge $25 because you have the wrong people in here. So you guys developed a niche, or not necessarily a niche, but you charged a certain price because you guys didn't want those sort of people here. So I guess, like I said, my biggest question is how do you develop the niche, but brand it on a global level?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess it'd be a specific situation, but I obviously you want to identify what the niche is, what area of business you're going into.
Yes.
But then you got to think, how am I going to build a business? So the question is, how do I focus on a niche on a global level? Is how do I build a business that helps me with my end result? The end result isn't building a niche. The end result is what?
It's growing the business.
Say again?
It's growing the business.
To build a business.
Yes.
The question is, how do I build the business? So what is the ultimate goal? Let's say what's the ultimate goal?
Personally or my business-wise?
Business.
Business-wise, it would be in order to have men begin to dress up more, but then on top of that, be such a force that they begin to tailor their other people's situations.
Okay.
So
what's the goal for the business? The goal for the business isn't getting men to dress up more. Because if they go to Macy's and dress up more, you didn't hit your goal.
True. I get.
What is the goal for the business?
As of right now, it's simply to grow. As of right now, I haven't identified an end result yet.
So let's find out what the goal is.
Okay.
Do you have a goal by the end of the year, at least?
As of right now, the goal at the end of the year is to obtain 100 clients.
Did you just make that up just now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right now, with it, all right, for this year. So 100, how many clients you got?
As of right now, I have 5.
You have 5.
I have 5.
So we got to find 95 clients by the end of the year.
Yes.
Have you thought of how to do that?
You know, yes, I've thought about it.
Okay, what'd you come up with? Just say no, I haven't thought about it. It's okay.
No. I mean, I've thought about it, but it hasn't been put into practice
Right,
yet,
so here's the thing. We all thought about the business. Like, stuff goes on in our head. I'm talking about cell phone, face down, off, no Instagram, TV, strategy, plan. My favorite movies are bank robbery movies because they don't go in there waving a gun. They sit down and strategize and plan. How long is it going to take me to get in and out? About how many tellers, how much money is in there? How many tellers are going to be there at 2:33? They strategize. They sit there and really try to map this thing out. And they find experts who know the inside of the bank. You follow me? So if the goal is 100, we got to find 95 clients. And if I ask you, how many do we need every single month from now to the end of them? I'm not going to ask you the question because I know you don't have the answer. Because we haven't really sat down and identified what the goal is. So we started talking about niches and businesses, but we need to know what the goal is first. So my first goal is make $100,000. I'm thinking, if I sell $25 t-shirts, I only have to sell 11 of them to make $275 every single day. I can do that. My goal is $100,000. I wasn't saying I'm passionate about t-shirts. How do I make $100,000? Because I thought I was going to be rich and I could drive a Lambo and I have a mansion if I made $100,000. That was my thought. My goal, $100,000. Oh, it makes sense. $275 a day. What can I sell to make $275 a day? 11 t-shirts. Got it. No problem. But we start talking about $1 million, goal, $1 million. Now let's work backwards. What is the business plan to get to this goal? It's not let me find a niche. This is my goal. What's the best way to do it? Let's work backwards. How do we make this $84,000 every single month? Make sense? Yeah. So you're going to have to sit down and identify what you really want. Because I can give you some advice, and that might not be the advice that you're looking for because it's not aligned with the goal that you don't have yet. So let's figure out what the goal is, identify the activity. I'm going to give you this real quick. You ready? But you need a phone. You need something to take notes on this. Okay? Then everybody can take notes on this. This is going to be really, really good for you, okay? It's a systematic way of thinking for everyone. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. These are really good questions. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who do we need? That's the who. What? What is going to be required of me? When? When am I going to start and when should I arrive? I'm going to start today. I should reach this goal by the end of the year, December 31st, 2021. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Where, hold on, where were we? Who, what, when, where. Where do I want to end up? What's the ultimate goal? We got to identify that. Who, what, when, where, why. Why is that my goal? Right? So I knew why my goal was 100,000. I knew why my goal was $1 million. I knew why my goal was to get to 100,000 subscribers. I know why my goal is to get to 1 million subscribers. I know why I'm doing it. But I've set some goals, and then I get to the why question, and I realize I can't come up with a good answer of why I'm trying to get to that. I told myself I want to be a billionaire. But I was like, yo, why do I want to be a billionaire? And then I realized I don't really want to be a billionaire. I don't need all that. So I reevaluated where I wanted to go. Make sense? So who, what, when, where, why, and then how. The how, very important. That's the strategy. How am I going to pull this off? So I can imagine we probably just never had the conversation. All right, I got 6 months to get 95 clients. What's the question? What's the question?
How?
How am I going to do this? It seems very simple, but most people set a goal and they never ask themselves the question of what? How am I going to do it? It's very simple. And I promise you, you're smart enough. You're brilliant. You can figure it out. I promise you can. You'll just start thinking of stuff. Oh, maybe I'll just go to the tailors and suit people and I'll drop off my cards. Or you know what? I'm just going to do a whole bunch of videos teaching people how to dress up. You know what? I'm going to do a blog. I'm going to do a newsletter. I'm going to do a podcast interviewing people about fashion. You'll come up with some stuff. But then eventually we'll come up with it. Then we got to deal with the whole fear thing. We got to interview our fear while we're afraid of that. So you're just going to have to watch this interview a couple times.
Yeah.
Got it? So we are
19 people a month.
And I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
Guys, stop focusing on being global and just start with impacting your community that you have access to right now.
Facts.
Once you master the community that you're in right now, then maybe a region, then maybe the United States. Some people have these global goals and no way to fulfill global products or services.
You better hope your joint go viral. You better hope that don't happen.
Don't let them order your book that you charge $20 for. You charge $20 for your book and you go to ship it and realize it's going to cost you $25 to ship it.
That hurt.
To the UK. Do you really want to be global? Did you think that through? You don't even have systems in place to support a global business. Just right now, start with your Instagram page and grow that and bring people into that community and impact them. And then your state and your office and start there.
Yeah. Cool. Does that help you?
Yeah.
Good. Clap it up. All right, look, we got to go, man, because we got to take the VIPs to dinner. Where's it at? Where's dinner? I know.
Down here?
I was about to say it too.
Dinner is here?
It's somewhere close for our VIPs. We're going to sit there, have a good conversation. I'm taking care of the bill. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so did y'all enjoy yourselves?
Yes.
Come on, y'all. We recorded live. Come on. All right, we're here in Los Angeles. We're here that's the number?
Right now.
For the month?
So far.
Ooh, I'm going to inspire you in a minute at dinner.
What?
I'm going to inspire you in a minute.
Let's get it.
All right. Yes, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for working through the heat. Huh?
You never finished your points that you were telling.
I never finish my points. I'll be all over the place on the podcast.
Watch the next
Okay,
episode.
yes. Okay. 1, identify what you're afraid of. 2, I think it was interview your fear. Number 3 was what? You were listening the whole time. I don't know. Find people who aren't afraid of what you're afraid of. And that was the story. It was impactful, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
That was it. 3.
Get around some people that aren't afraid of what you're afraid of. Yeah, that helped with Kenny, right? He wasn't afraid of high ticket. You were. And he says, yo, do it. And you're like, oh, well, I don't want to. And then eventually it works.
Hey, you guys, we got some room. I just found out if anybody wants to upgrade to VIP now. Okay. You can see Ernestine right here in the back, and she will get you squared away if you want to participate in the dinner.
It was sold out. It's not sold out?
It is not sold out. We got a couple of seats. And y'all better do it quick because I got to catch a flight tonight. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, y'all. This episode is sponsored still by the Morning Meetup. Yo, first off, everybody have my phone number? Okay, let me get on my number.
First
Don't
of
do
all,
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do
let
it.
me see.
All right, cool. So, and I really do be texting. 404. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, I'll explain later. 404-737-4935. I text when the podcasts come out. I text when I'm like feeling inspired and I'm going through something. I'll text it to you. So 404-737. Let me see yours first. 404-737. Don't follow Donni though after this because we're in 404-737-4935. Send me a text message. I'm gonna text you back.
Let me just see. You got the
All right,
privacy
yeah.
screen on.
All right, I need y'all to text me immediately because she's beating me. Okay, 404-737-4935. Make sure y'all text me. If you're not in the morning meetup, you're making a mistake. Anybody here in the morning meetup? Ooh, hold on, I'm gonna say it again. I need y'all to make noise. Anybody here in the morning meetup? Yeah! Morning meetup is dope. It's the only community that gathers every single day. Even in California at 5 in the morning, I've been up. Oh my gosh, it's been, yeah. So go to themorningmeetup.com. Every month we have a topic. I think this month we're focused on content creation. So every month we have a theme. Every day we have a topic that supports the theme. Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a book club. We're reading what book? What book? What Makes the Great Great? What Makes the Great Great by Dennis Kimbrough. We're all reading it together. We're all on the same page, literally. So go to themorningmeetup.com. And lastly, are y'all on our Patreon? Yep. Y'all know y'all get the episodes like days early and exclusive content and all kind of stuff. And you can start with as little as $5. It's not even a high ticket I'm selling you. I'm selling $5 to $40. And you get a discount on everything. So it's Patreon. How many people are going to join our Patreon? Support your favorite podcast. It's $5.
At least they're honest.
At least they're honest. Like, boy, you get no $5 out of me.
$5.
All right, so patreon.com, patreon.com/ David Never Sleeps. And I think it's in my bio and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, we appreciate the support. Okay, Donni.
All right, you guys, this episode is also sponsored by Six Figure EDU. That's SIXFigureEDU.com. It is the best community for developing coaches and consultants. So if you're someone who wants to be a coach, a course creator, or a consultant, basically you want to teach somebody something and help them get a result, I am your person. We have developed successfully hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years. And guys, the track record is amazing. I'm the coach's coach. Did you know that?
That's a fact.
I am the coach's coach. I love being able to say that now. Anyway, you want to go to SIXFigureEDU.com to schedule a call with my team, and let's figure out if that is a good option for you to help you grow your business. This episode is also sponsored by Post to Paid. I have just completely removed the overwhelm of entrepreneurs having to figure out what to post on social media. Like, you got these businesses going, you want to talk about it, you get to your Instagram page and you don't know what to say, or you don't know how to articulate what you want to say. I've completely removed the overwhelm. I send you 3 text messages every single day, me to your phone, with the exact prompt of what you should post. This is ideal for service-based businesses. This is not ideal for like t-shirts and hair extensions and things like that. If you're a service-based business that gets somebody a result, text me right now the words Post to Paid. It's $37 a month, you guys. For $1.23 a day, all your Instagram is figured out. Is that fair or fair? It's amazing. All right, text me Post to Paid 404-737-2767. Can y'all text that now? Post to Paid. I don't see enough cell phones. You already in it? Y'all in it? You in it too? Who's in it? You're in it. 404-737-2767. $37 a month.
There it is. We had to do a commercial. Y'all get this stuff for free on the podcast. Got to do a little commercial.
Yeah.
So thank y'all so much, LA, for coming out. We are going to keep this thing pushing. All right, we are going to continue to drop episodes and get better and better and better at it. And we can't wait to see y'all journey. All right, we're out of here.
We have our next date coming.
Houston,
but whatever. We don't know. This will probably air. Anyway, So we're on tour. If you guys want us to come to your city, all you need is a venue. Put a venue together. David and I and the team
speakers that work
will be there. And sound equipment that works, you guys. You can rent that from a reputable company, We love you guys. We are so excited about the first live event. Can you guys comment on the video and tell everybody that I'm the cooler co-host?
Oh my gosh, and my stories are better. All right, we're out of here. Peace. What if I told you for $1, I will introduce you to hundreds of entrepreneurs every single morning this week? From all across the country, you'll be able to talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I'll coach you. I'll coach you for $1 this whole week, and I'll introduce you to some of my successful friends for $1 this week. Would you take part in that? Well, go to themorningmeetup.com because that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? The only organization that gathers entrepreneurs every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurship, okay? Every single day, Monday through Friday, we gather, we're growing, we're learning. We got a book club. Have you ever seen hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the same book? Every single chapter, every single day, we're growing together, okay? You need the environment to grow in. Themorningmeetup.com, $1. I'm gonna give you all this for $1. If you wanna stay, great. It's $79 a month after that. If not, no obligation. You can leave whenever you want. All right? Themorningmeetup.com. I'll see you in the morning.